Hi, Asiba. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi.
Yep. Thanks for being,
Mhm.
by the way. We'll just wait for the others, and I think John is out for today and tomorrow. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if he's also out tomorrow, but I think
yeah,
today,
he's not big. Yeah,
yeah,
he's out tomorrow as well.
he's out. So, yeah, let's wait for the others. Maybe two more students, and then we'll continue with the session. Okay.
Okay, today I'm a little bit sick. I would be just listening
Oh,
to you guys. I'll be
so
here.
sad to hear that. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Most of the discussion for today would be more focused on explaining things, and
Okay.
yeah, let's use the time on Saturday to do some recitation, just to make sure that everyone got the idea of joints.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Yeah.
I'll be idle for a while waiting for the others.
Sure.
Okay, I'll just be on standby. Yep.
Okay.
Hi, Grace. How are you? Welcome to the meeting. Grace, can you hear me? Grace? Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear me, and you're on mute. Okay, Grace, Hasiba, can you guys hear me? I'm not sure if there's something wrong with.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for the response. So yeah, Grace, welcome to the meeting, and thanks for being on time. I think we can start. Yeah. So let's have a quick recapitulation of the discussion last time, and I think John mentioned that he'll be out for today. So I think he assigned some work to do during the supposed lab the chicken work offline. Let me see. Okay. Um, I'm sharing my Okay, so be investing more time understanding joints because this is one of the more important topics here in SQL, and I hope you can see it now. So, yep, just fix this VGA cord. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, so. The real power of SQL, just like what we said the last meeting, comes from working with multiple tables at once. So um, having this common fields or common columns between these tables would allow us to somehow relate those information existing in those tables together. And we have we have discussed these two types of joins, the inner join and the left join. So we had this example. So basically, for the join or inner join, the commonality between the records from the first table and the next table would be the only things that you would be seeing on the results. So we had this visualization of the inner join. So you can think of like a Venn diagram and the intersection between the tables that you can relate as sets. Okay, would be the result when you do an inner join. So only those common records. So typically, you would observe that okay, the size of the resulting table could be smaller as compared to the first and the second table. Okay, and I've prepared something um, that I think uh, would be good in explaining the concepts even deeper. So I'll be showing it to you later. So I'll be giving you a copy of that. And yep, we also had this discussion about the left join, which is basically all the records from the left table plus the commonality with the records from the right table. So basically, there would be missing values here, right? So if there are no common records from um, this right table, okay, with the left table, there would be this missing values. And we have seen that, right, with this companies and acquisition. So we applied this left join to answer this question or this problem to return all companies together with those companies that acquired them. So we can see here that these records don't have any matching. Okay, that's why they are or no match. So they are missing values. Okay, there are nulls in it. So that's a common thing. That's a common thing, especially when you apply either a left join or a right join. So expect that if there are records, of course, we were expecting that there are records in the left table that don't match any records in the acquisitions table, then there would be missing values. So that refers to this part right here. Okay, so this part has no common records with the right table. So this large chunk right here, would have missing values for the new columns. So was it something clear, guys? Now, in order for us to understand it even better, so I prepared this one. Um, so imagine you have two tables, table A and table B, and you have this three columns. So this is quite similar to what I did with Microsoft Excel, right? So I have this IDs, I have this names and values, okay, just arbitrary things. And you have another table B, which has the same information. You can think of it as okay, what would be the favorite fruit of this people, Alice, Job, and Charlie. So it corresponds to this. However, we don't have any information about the names in the other table. So we can do inner join here. So what do you think would be the result if we do an inner join? What would be the resulting rows? Anyone? What do you think would be the resulting rows if we do an inner join or just a simple join?
We would select all the columns from both tables.
Okay. How about the records? What would be like the the records that you would see in the merged
It will
table.
it will have 1 3 only.
Exactly. So in an inner join, as what we have talked about, it would look into the common fields, right, or rather common records from both the tables. So the resulting table would only contain records 1 and 3, only Alice and Charlie. Okay. Again, it doesn't matter if Alice, like for the value A or value B, those are missing. Okay, that's not a problem. The main thing to look at is if the records on the common field actually match. If they match, then even though you have a missing value here, okay, in this column or the other column, it would still be included. So, yep, Jeff, you're correct. Thank you very much. That the resulting table would contain only two rows, and that is with ID 1 and 3. Now, what would happen if we do a left join? Okay, so a left join retrieves all rows from the left table. So the left table would be here, this table A, and the right table would be table B. If there's no match, no values are filled for the right table's columns, right? So if we do that, okay, sorry, I already spelled the answer. So what would happen if we do a left join? So all the records here, 1, 2, 3, plus the commonality. And the commonality is, again, we've seen that it would be 1 and 3, right? So there would be an additional row here for Bob, right? Bob is existing in the left table, but it doesn't have any match on the right table. As we see right here, Bob would be included. However, since Bob has no information about name B and value B, it would be empty or null. Do you follow? Was it something intuitive? Maybe a thumbs up uh, would be good. Again, let me show it to you. The actual data set here. So Bob has no information from the table B. However, Bob is included in table A, which is the left table in this case. So Bob would still be retained, okay? Similar to idea, the concept with what we have shown here. Bob is here, okay? And 1 3 is actually here. It's like a common record between the two tables. So there would be nulls, particularly for columns name underscore B and values underscore B. So that's what you're seeing right here. Okay? Do you follow? Questions, guys? Questions? Perfect, perfect. I love it. I'm very glad that you're able to like understand the thing. So yep, let's go back here so that we can start with the right join. So just like Grace pointed out the last meeting, you don't actually need the right join because if you think about it, I'll just skip this thing because I've already explained this stuff. Um, Basically here we're comparing the sizes when we do an inner join and when we do a left join. So definitely when we do a left join, it would be much bigger. It would contain more rows because there would be those records from the left table that are not appearing in the right table but still be included in the output. So we're expecting that. And the inner join would have less rows because it will be only getting the commonality, okay? Common records between the two tables. So that's something. However, I might want to, yeah, I think it's better if we look into this syntax, okay? So here, write a query that performs an inner join, okay, between the tutorial.crunchbase acquisitions table and the Crunchbase companies table. But instead of listing individual rows, count the number of rows in each table. So we did this part. So the only difference here is applying the count. And as you can see in here, let me explain it line by line. So again, I'll be starting from the from clause. If I write this one, notice, notice guys, that I did not use the as here. This as code. Okay, you're not seeing it here. So it means that the as is not really a requirement. If you do want to assign aliases to your tables or to your columns, right? So that's one thing that I want to highlight here. So let's open mode and let's actually try it. Okay, let's try it so that we can gain um, those muscle memory, develop those muscle memory in writing SQL. Let me just open my mode. I think it's not a good idea to skip this part, even though the concept was already been discussed. The coding part is actually equally important. Okay, let me just change the view here. For some reason, the light theme, okay, the one with the light background, white background, it's so painful to the eyes, at least for me. So I don't want it to be light, okay? I want it in dark mode so it doesn't put too much what do you call this? Too much stress to my eyes. Let me just open my other thing. Okay, so let's do it. I'll be pasting the screenshot, okay, in the chat box so that you can easily follow. So where was it? Okay, there we go. It's in the chat box. So let's do it line by line. Okay. Okay. There we go. So we want to know the counts, right? So that we can see the sizes of the resulting tables when we do an inner join or when we do a left join. Okay. So we'll start with, maybe I'll name this comparison between an inner join and a left join. Okay. So we start with from, okay, from class tutorial dot companies, okay, Crunchbase companies. And notice I will not use the as, okay, code. So I'll just use a space and then I'll just call it companies. Okay, as simple as that. And I'll be doing an inner join, so I'll be joining, okay, tutorial acquisitions. And I'll be just calling this as acquisitions. Don't want to mess up with the spelling, acquisitions. Okay. Now, what would be the key? Remember that the key here, let's do a select star for both of the tables, right? So that we can identify the common field. So let's start with the companies. So we'll be limiting this. No, I don't want that. Where is it coming from? Okay. So limit by, I only want to see 5 rows for simplicity. Okay. And do a select star. There's an error. Limit by 5. Okay. I did. I have the by in there. Okay. The by is for the order by. Okay. Kind of mix things up. So we see here permalink, okay, the names, homepage URL, category code, funding total USD, and so on. Some other fields right here. And now we look into the other table, right? The sort of right table. Um, should be the acquisitions. Why is it giving me the claim date? I don't need the claim date. So let's see. So it's almost the same. However, instead of just permalink, we have company permalink here. But it seems that the common field, the key, okay, the primary key that we can use is the permalink, right? Seems that's the case. Okay, so let's do that. Let's run this again. Let's see. So this is company permalink, and then this is um see this one, just permalink. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Permalink. So we use those. So this one is in the acquisitions table, and this one is from the company's table, right? So I'll be extracting that company's permalink to um, acquisitions dot company permalink. Do you follow, guys? Do you see the the step-by-step process? Again, I want to highlight here, we did not use as. It's not even a requirement. Okay? Can I get a thumbs up from you? Questions? No questions? Can I assume that everything was clear here, guys? Are you still there? Asiba, Grace, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, just want to make sure. So,
Oh,
now,
I'm here. I was talking on mute. Sorry.
okay, okay. Yeah, sorry. I was anxious that you're too quiet. Okay, it's a it's a bad indication for me that something's wrong. Okay, so anyway, thank you very much for responding. So now we want to know, okay, what are the columns? What are the columns that we want to show? So we select, right? What are the columns? Again, our main goal here, going back, was that we want to see how many rows are there, okay? For both of this merge table, one done with an inner join and the other one done with a left join. So that's basically what we need, okay? So as you can see in here, we already have that in our arsenal, right? We already have that in our toolbox, the count function. So basically, we just apply it to or with the select clause. So basically, just apply the count where first from the companies dot permalink. And we're calling this as companies total. As simple as that. Do you follow? We'll also get the count of which acquisitions dot. Oh, I messed up with the dot permalink, right? Oh no, no. Should be company. Okay. It um doesn't have any permalink, just permalink. Should be company permalink. Okay. So this would be as acquisitions total. Okay. And yep, let's see. Count the permalink, count the permalink. And again, what we're selecting here is already from the join table. Remember? What we're selecting here, again, don't be confused with the select clause. Previously, when we just started writing our first SQL codes, right? We start with select because we thought, okay, the series is this or the sequence. We select this column from this table. But when we talked about the order of operation, okay, the order in which these clauses are being run by the system under the hood, it's not really the case. So from now on, I'm always starting with the from clause. So from this table, do this and then give me this. So that give me this part is actually the select clause. Once everything has been done, I want to see these things. So that's basically what's happening here. And after seeing that, you can order it. Once you have those things, you then order it. That's why after the select clause comes the order by statement, right? So let's see. Let's run this. Okay. And it's taking some time because I think the size, the sheer size of it. Yeah, there we go. We did not get any error. So there are 1673 rows, which is basically the one that you saw in um in the slides earlier. Now, what would happen? Notice that I did not use the ask here, but what would happen if I remove it here in the select clause? Can the system still see and identify that I'm trying to provide aliases for each of these columns? Let's see. So if it doesn't allow it, it would give us an error, right? It would give us an error. So again, remember the system is running it from left to right. So it's some way there should be a mechanism, right, that identifies okay, the programmer actually wants to put an alias to it even without using the as. Do you follow? So if you would ask me, is it a good practice? The answer is no. For me, I would still use the as, even though it's not a requirement for readability, because it somehow makes it logical, right? If you read it again, similar to the English language, it would be more intuitive. So again, while it works, it's not a good practice. Well, the way I see it, okay. So it's not always the case that okay, we want things to be as short as possible, but we want to maintain that flow of thought. Do you follow, guys? Okay, perfect. Now, if we want to do a left join, we can just basically copy this, right, and add the left in here. So we have the left table from the company's table, and then we want to do a left join with the acquisitions table. So we are basically saying, okay, the left table would be um, well would contain more records, okay, in the merge table. So let's see that. Let's see that. So we'd be expecting, okay, since we know that the acquisitions table has 1673, then the the other table, the left table, would now be much larger. the company's table is now 27355 or 27,355, which is basically, again, going back to this MS Word explanation, we just did basically this thing right here. So there would be tons of missing values for the added columns because those those records don't match any records from those characteristics don't match any records from the left table. Does it make sense, guys? It's just the exact same thing as what we did with, but of course, this in terms of size, this is larger. Questions? I'll give you some time to process it. Okay, give you some time to process. Again, our goal in this class is not only to be able to write codes. Well, I give more importance to understanding. Okay, so they say that there are three types of students. One is you give the instruction and then they would do exactly what you instructed them to do. And then there's another type of the student that is um, um, they would be needing more time to process things. They would be needing more time to really um, be able to do things on their own, but um, they will eventually catch up with the first type of the student. And there this number three or type three of student in which it's just 1 out of 1 billion, in which they can easily translate the language, the human language into codes effortlessly. So those are talented people like Elon Musk, probably um, Bill Gates, or even Zuckerberg. So those are very talented coders. Personally, I'm number two. I I I need more time to understand and practice things. To be honest with you, I'm more of a brute learner. Give me more practices, give me more information, and I'll be better. Okay. Number three is something I should say God given. Okay. You don't develop it. It's innate, inborn. Okay, guys, can you give me a thumbs up and then I'll proceed with the
Sounds
right
good.
join? Okay, perfect. But the others, how about the others? Jeff, or
Oh, no, I mean, it's
you're
good. Yeah.
okay.
Sorry. I didn't mean
I
to
thought
raise my
so.
hand.
Okay, okay, yeah. Thank you very much. How about Asiba? Asiba? Okay, perfect, perfect. Now we proceed. Let's proceed with the right join. Okay, so again, right joins you would rarely see this because if you think about the logic, if you just want to get the records coming from the other table, why not switch it and just use the left join? You would accomplish basically the same thing. Okay, so let me just go through this information that I've included in this slide. It returns all records from the right table, the second one, and the matching records from the left table, the first one. If there are no matching records in the left table, SQL will only return records from the right table, exactly similar to what would happen with the left join. But with the left join, all the records from the left table would be returned. So the syntax is right join, right outer join. Well, of course, I always prefer the shorter one, so right join is the way to go. And let's see here a problem. Okay, return all acquisitions if they have any companies associated in the related table. Return those two. So basically, we'll just switch the thing that we did earlier. And as you can see here, just switching, right? Switching the thing. So um, the order is still the same, but we are doing a right join instead of a left join. But okay, but here's a note. Right joins are rarely used because you can achieve the same results by switching the order of the table names in a left join. What do I mean with that? So let's see here. Okay. So basically here, notice that I just switched the acquisitions table and the companies table right here. Okay. So the practice here is to rewrite the previous practice problem in which you counted total and acquired companies by state, but with the right join instead of a left join. So your goal is not to simply switch the join class in this case, but to do the right join to left join. Okay. So let's play a little bit with the left and the right join. Okay, so this is a left join. Now, what should I do in order to do a right join but still get the same result? What should I do with this? Like the right join, if I do a right join, basically, um, what I want to do here, right, is just change this to right join, and what would happen is those without matching records from the right table, the acquisitions table would be retained, plus the matching records. This is the center one. Okay, this thing in the middle, right? This thing in the middle. But let's see. Let's wait for the result. So we have here acquisitions in total 7414. Which, as you can see, it's much larger now, right? It's much larger now as compared to the company's total. Now, I want to ask you how I can accomplish the same thing, this result from the right join, with only using the left join. So let me put it this way. How can I get the same results using a left join? Anyone? So we'll go back here. This is the left join, right? We just copy it. Now, how would we get the same results? Can we just switch this things, this and this, so that the position would be swapped, and you have the right table formerly as the left table, and the other as well? Do you think do you think so, guys? Hmm. Theoretically, just that's what we said, right? So let's see if that works in actuality. So we just have to swap these things. I'll be putting it right here, and this thing would be now in the from clause. So actually, the others would not really change that much, right? Because we are using the same. The order of this is just how it would appear in the result. So changing this line 335 and 336 would not really affect the select clause unless we change um, the the aliasing for the tables. So that's the time that we will see or we'll need additional changes in the select clause. One thing about mode, if you're working with a very large data set, it's kind of running slowly. And exactly, we have the same table, right? Do you follow? So we have verified that the theory actually works. With switching the table, so there's no need for you to really use the right join. Okay, there's no need for you to use the right join. That's the reason why you would rarely see it. Okay. Now, I want to switch to the Excel just to give you like a simplified version of what's going on. So if we go back here to our simple tables A and B, Can you say to me what would happen if we do a right join? What would be the resulting columns? So definitely the, let me pull up my Epic pen. Definitely the result would include the commonality, right? The commonality, these records that are existing both in the two tables. Wonder what color should be the best. So this one and this one would appear definitely in this three. However, we would be ignoring this two. Bob would not be part of the resulting table, of the merged table when we do a right join. Instead, Sherry, right? That should be the case, which is basically the inverse of what would happen if we do a left join. There we go. There is Sherry. You might argue, okay, Sherry doesn't have like a name on the other table. Exactly. That's why it would be nulls, right? The thing is, the more important thing is, well, I should say the most important thing is, it's existing on the right table. That's why it's part of the merge table. Okay. Do you follow, guys? Do you follow? It's not really complicated. You just need some time to really process things. Why do I invest so much time explaining things deeply? Um, there are so many data analysts that are very fast in doing things. Like they really know the practical aspects. They know the process. But if you ask them what's going on under the hood, how does this thing work, they can't really explain. Okay, so for me, in order to troubleshoot things in the future, in order for you to communicate well what's happening, how things work, and why things work, we should prioritize more on understanding. So that would be even until statistics part, uh, it would be the discussion would be very deep. Okay, so I hope it's fine to you. It's more difficult, of course, than just writing the code and show you that it works as compared to really going through the concept in a deep fashion. So let's go back to the slides. So I think some time ago, I think 2 meetings ago, Jeff asked me, okay, is there a way to just combine the two tables together, whether they have commonality or not? I just want to combine them, regardless if they have like common fields. The answer is yes. And this is it. Full outer join. And there are so many considerations when doing this. Why? The table would be very large. There would be replicate columns. That's a possibility. Well, usually the replicate columns would just be the keys, but there are times that there are replicate information, just like what I analyzed with the Skillspire data. There are so many replicate columns. What's the possible reason of that? People come and go, right? New people will be coming in and they will be working on the data, and then another person, that person would leave and another person would come in, and um, he or she has a specific preference on how the data should be encoded, and she or he will be creating this new column that is like a total or almost a total, well, almost a replicate of the existing one. So there's so many of those redundancies. So that's one source of the replicate. Okay, replicate column. But one major problem of full outer joins is the existence, the number of missing values, the number of nulls. Okay, so imagine you have so many records from the left table. Okay, so many records from the left table that don't have any matches with the right table, and so as with the right table having no matching records from the left table, those would have missing values, tons of them, tons of missing values. Okay, So I included it here. Okay. The join table will contain all records from both tables and fill in nulls for missing values on the other side. And you would observe that the merge table would be a very large table with so many missing values. And it's a pain. It's a complete pain for the analyst. Why would you do that? Okay, what would you do? Combine the two tables and like have a problem with those missing values. So let me read through this. So the full outer join combines the results of the left join and the right join, and it turns all the rows match or unmatched from both the tables. So here's the thing. Sometimes it's just simpler to work in just one table, so people just combine them as one and then delete those rows with so many missing values. Um, but basically, you will be reduced to just an inner join if you do that. So most of the time, well, you would rarely see this because people would be more interested with the inner join with these things, right? And I think it's not difficult to understand why. So um most of the time you'd be more interested with it. However, there are cases in which, okay, there are other columns that are not missing, right? There are other informations that are not missing, or there is another table that is connected with like the table 2, so that when I combine them and do another join with that other table, I can somehow fill those missing values. So you can do that. You can do that after the full outer join. So it's a pain. It's not pretty, and we will see later. I think I have this example with full outer join, but you should be careful when you do this. Okay, you should be careful, very careful. And yeah, I have here conceptual practice. So Um, but before that, let's go back here. Well, the full outer join is just combining all of these things, regardless if there are matches, right? So as you can see, all of these names would now appear. So there would be a record. A merge table would now contain 1, 2, 3, 4. But there would be tons of missing values here. Missing, 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 and missing. Okay, so Bob is not in the right table, but Sherry is on the left table, but not on um, the right table. So those are the um, reasons for having this nulls. And don't worry, we'll have a separate discussion on how to treat this missing values. I want to be very methodological and very strict with that because people would just like for this example, um, oftentimes they would just look into the mode. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the mode, but the mode is just that observation that appeared the most. So they would argue that since this is the thing that appeared the most, then the probability of this missing value being that would be high. Okay. So those are just some assumptions that people make. But if you do that, you're injecting more error into your data set. And again, just like I stressed most of the time, we want to preserve the sanctity, the pureness of the data, because if we inject more error into it, then whatever analysis we do, how much level, how much complexity there is in the analysis, the result would still be questionable. Okay, so if you have this this luxury of dropping them because you have like a very large data set, then that would be a better idea. Or if you have a less number of observation, then we would be needing to salvage um, these records, but we need to be methodological. We need to be very technical about it, just to minimize that potential error that we'll be injecting in our data set. Okay, So, yep, this is very straightforward. This is very easy to understand. Now, to support it even more, I've prepared here a conceptual practice. So I just put numbers in here, which is basically what would be the result if you do an inner join. And we know, okay, let me ask you guys, Hasiba, what would be the result of an inner join? Hasiba.
Can you please ask again?
Yeah, what would be the result of the inner join in this figure that you're seeing?
Uh, 4 and 3.
Exactly, perfect. Grace, what would be the result of a left join?
1, 2, 8, 4, 3.
Perfect, perfect, love it. Jeff, right join. Sorry about the noise. My
Right
baby is
join.
crying. Jeff?
Yeah. Wouldn't it wait, right join wouldn't it be just like 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
7,
the
6?
right join.
Yeah. Three,
Yep.
four, five, seven, six, right?
P45. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. I love it. You already understand the concept of join. So basically this is the solution and you got it all correctly. Okay. So perfect, perfect. Now we can proceed to the next topics. But before that, we can do a quick 10-minute break, okay? Before we transition to the next discussion. So our next discussion would be um how can we make the joining faster? You can, well, for example, both the two tables that you're trying to merge have like more than one keys, right? That's a possibility because when you look at the previous tables that we used, there is this permalink company permalink and the name. I think the name is also existing from both of the tables, so we can actually use two keys or more to make the joining faster and more accurate. Okay, the more keys that you have, the more accurate the joining would be, especially for a larger data set, and it would be way faster. Okay, so that would be the next discussion. Okay, and it would be easy. The next discussions would be anything related to joints would be easy for you since fully understood you've fully understood the concept. Okay, this would be a breeze for you. So yep, let's make a 10-minute break. Time
Yeah,
to
Jeff. So
refresh
I
the
actually gotta go
coffee.
pick up. I actually gotta go pick up my uncle from the train station. So I'll be back a bit later. So
Okay, okay, no worries, Jeff. Thanks for letting me know. You can just look into the recording if
yeah.
yeah, it would be much longer. Okay, and be safe, Jeff. So yep, 10-minute break. Grace and Nasiba. Okay, I think we can proceed. Grace and Asiba, are you there? I think the 10 minute is
Here.
over. Okay, perfect. Cheers. So, um, yep, I don't think that it's needed to do a concept review for joins. So let's move towards this new concept of joining on multiple keys. So basically, I've already introduced to you the reason for it. So the accuracy. So sometimes we need multiple columns to uniquely identify a row. Think of a street address plus city or state, and then also the performance. It can make the merging of the tables faster. So this performance would not be evident if you're working with just a very small table or relatively small table, but it would be very evident if you're doing a merging with much larger tables. So let's talk about the concept of joining on multiple keys. So um, basically, so I have here two queries. Okay. Um, you have here at the top select companies that permalink. So these are just the columns that would appear, okay, in your output. So there would be a column for permalink, name, company name, and company permalink. So these are from the tables, Crunchbase companies, Crunchbase companies, and we did the left join with the Crunchbase investments part one, and we just call it as investments table. And we use the permalink and the company permalink and the company name and the company name. So let's see. Currently, the logic probably is not clear. So let's move forward to mode and let's analyze this more deeply. So there are two tables that are used in here. So we have already seen this companies table, right? So it's here. Let's see it again, the fields that we have. So we have the category code, we have the country code, first funding at, and so on. So we also have the permalink in here, which is like a directory, right? Um, and then let's look at the other table. So the other table was actually um, from tutorial.crunchbase investments part one. So I think this is the first time that we're using it in class in the lecture particularly. So it would be best if we familiarize ourselves with the fields, with the columns that we have in here. Okay, so we have company permalink here, right? Which is also existing in the companies table. So that's one that we can use. So let's list it down in here. So company permalink. And then we have the company name also, which is, I think, appears also in the company's table, but it has a different name. So let's order this. Order by name. And let's see if order, order by name. Uh, was it a different column? Order by, oh, error, syntax error at or near order. order. What's wrong with this? Okay, let me do a quick step back and see. It's telling me that I have an error. Oh, yeah, it's the order of execution. So the limit should go after the order by. There we go. So we see here this companies submitted by the first 100. So what I'm trying to do here is to make sure that the names that are appearing in these companies are actually the same thing that appears in the investment part, right? That's what I want to verify because they might, well, we can we can assume that, but of course it pays to be sure. It pays to be sure that we actually have the actual thing. Let me just fix this thing, right? Um, should be ordered by, in this part, I think it is company name, not just name. Yeah, order by company name. And you want to see the first 100 records. Oh, there we go. We have seen this thing, o-6.com, and the memories, right? In fact, what I can do is to look at distinct company name so that it would be easier to see, right? Without those replicates in there. These are weird company names. Weird company names. So let's do this. Do the same thing here. Distinct name, right? So yeah, we can use it. There are just some companies here that are not present, so probably there are no acquisitions whatsoever, but we can definitely use it. Okay, we can definitely use it um as a as a link between the two um these two tables. Okay, do you follow, guys? Do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is, well, um how should I say this? Let me think. When you're already working and your task is to, well, first pull the data from the database, you have to be really aware of what information you'll be getting. Like, if you plan to join these tables, you can screw things up. So it would be better to take things slowly, try to really absorb and synthesize the information that you have in the tables from the database. In that way, you would less likely repeat the process all over again, because at the end you will just realize, okay, this thing doesn't make sense, or this thing is erroneous, this is incorrect, so you have to go back and do everything again. So make sure to take things slowly in this part, understanding what you're dealing with, and once you have that, the other steps would easily follow. So okay, so our goal, let me define our goal here. Our goal is to merge with more than one key. Yeah, right? So whether we use left join, inner join, or whatever type of join, you intend to use, I want to show to you that it can be done with more than two keys, if it's possible, right? If it's possible to, well, if you have more than one common field. So sometimes they actually do that in purpose just to make sure that the records in the merge table are accurate, and especially if you're working with a very large data set, they try to put those columns, those common columns, common fields, in the different tables so that the joining would be faster.
Hey,
So
Jeff, I have a question.
sure.
When we're working on databases
Mm,
and we are joining two tables together,
mm,
um, in essence, the new table, the merge table is a new table. Is
exactly.
it possible to save that in the same
Yes.
database where it was retrieved?
Yes.
Okay.
It's definitely possible to save that, but um I don't advise you to do that. Most of the time, the others will not be really interested with it. But unless the like, for example, the
Maybe it was
uh
internal or something,
yeah,
right?
internal or
Then
something.
you
Yeah,
could.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If
All
they
right.
ask for it, you can do it. So yeah, it's completely possible to do that. But that's the job of the data engineer actually.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, we data analysts, we just focus on
Yeah, because
pulling
there'd
those
still be a
data.
lot of cleaning if you
Yeah,
if you
there
did
would be a
that.
lot of cleaning, and to tell you honestly, I don't like that. If I can eliminate that part in my role, uh, my role would be very easy, very comfortable. But yeah, most of the time, it's really pain. It's really painful and annoying to do that data cleaning. Let me give you an idea. Um, so I think I mentioned the last meeting that I did this project with clinical researchers from Dubai. I just finished the analysis. However, the data set that was given to me, this is just a very small data set. So they just gave it to me, and like do what you you can do, okay, just to achieve this objectives of the research. And then yeah, just like what I expected to be, it's extremely ugly. Okay. So there are multiple records here that doesn't make sense. The encoding doesn't make sense. So for example, this passed away. Um, but as you can see, it is on the type of diabetes. So if this is the case, this is already like a drop out, like a dropout. So um, I don't want to put it in a column referring to type of diabetes. So I have to clean it out. There's so many missing values for the BMI because they failed to include the height. Yeah, I can show you this because it doesn't contain any names. So we have deleted the names for data privacy. So yep, very messy. And even here, you have none, but you have missing in here. So it's not really uniform. Even the measurements, as you can see here, it doesn't have a space after the number, but for the others, there's a space. So those kinds of things, if you try to plug it in and try to analyze those things, it would be a pain to you, right? It would be a pain. So you have to clean it first. Even here, some are having capital L and this lowercase l. You have to clean all of those things. And if you're an independent analyst, like what I'm doing, well, you have to do all of this by yourself. So I invested more than a day trying to clean this up. But I was able to get the result. Let me share it to you. What I did with this. This is for publication, a paper for publication. So basically, what we want to try to see here. just a quick side discussion here. From that data, I was able to generate these insights, and I think Microsoft Word is acting up. Okay, I think it just died. Okay, there we go. So I was able to get this, check if there are like the age bracket. The age has something to do with the existence of these conditions, macroalbuminuria. Um, so it's related to like the clotting of the blood. I'm not sure, Grace. I think you're more familiar to these things than me. So looked into the types of diabetes. There's this type 1, which is more like hereditary, and type 2, which is more like of a lifestyle uh, related one. And the duration. I have yet to fix these things. I have to fix the order. And we looked also into if there exist significant differences. So I did ANOVA here, analysis of variance. These things you'll be learning in the advanced course after this cohort if you intend to learn more about the other methods the data scientists are using. And I also looked into odds ratios, like what would be the odds of getting microalbuminuria if you have a normal diastolic pressure? So it seems that you're 33% more likely to have microalbuminuria if you have a normal diastolic pressure as compared to non-normal. This kind of surprising, right? And the cholesterol is something very interesting because the odds of getting microalbuminuria if you have a normal cholesterol if you're diabetic, of course, all of the participants here are diabetic. You would get twice likely the odds of getting it. So yep, so that's what I did with that data set. A very dirty data set, but yeah, as data analysts, we have to clean that up and do our thing, do our analysis. So going back here, that's just a side discussion. Just adding more um, more meat to the discussion about data cleaning. Okay, so the goal here is to merge. So how can no. I don't want to type it all over again. I just go here. So this thing, let me use it. So with I did a left join. So instead of using one common key, I used two. So you just have to use end, much like what you use end with a where clause. So you are using here to common fields to columns to join the tables together. Okay, it's not really a core requirement, right? As you can see at the bottom, this is the usual case that we
I have
did
a
earlier.
question on the ons, the keys.
Sure.
So right, this screenshot is showing companies join it with investments part 1. And when
Mhm.
you write the on for the key, if you were to write on investment, what if those two were switched
Reverse?
in
No,
place?
it doesn't matter. The position of the things here in the on and the end clause doesn't matter. You can interchange them. It would be it would be
Because
perfectly
those
the
ones are
same.
still labeled. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it will be just the same. Yeah, they are interchangeable actually. The order doesn't matter. So again, the intention of using multiple keys is to make more uh to make to make your joining higher in terms of accuracy and to make it faster. Well, it's not evident if you just join like tables having like several thousands of rows, but if you're talking about hundreds of thousands or even millions of rows, then it would be very evident. It would be significant. The time consumed in merging them would be significantly less. Okay, so that's what one thing that I want to stretch out here. I want to stress out rather. Let's proceed to self joins. So this is well, self joins are, how do I say this? Oftentimes, my students feel that self joins doesn't make sense. Like, why would you do that? Okay, that's their like initial reaction. Why would you join uh the table with itself? Doesn't make sense. You already have the table. Why would you joining it with itself? Um, the main reason for this is there could be some relationship existing between the rows and the columns of your table. Hmm. What do you mean by that, Jeff? Okay, let's see. I have here a very basic example. Okay, let's make things simpler. So let me go through this. A self join is joining a table with itself, which is weird. Okay, so it makes sense. Well, why would you do that? So it's usually used when there is any relationship between the rows and columns. Like in this table, we have employees and bosses and machine parts. Okay, those are some like some examples in which you'll be applying self joins with. But here I have a simple example. Okay, so we have here an ID column that is just an ID identifying this people. We have the full name John Smith, okay, Jane Anderson, Tom Lennon, Ann Connor, and Jeremy York. And these are their corresponding salaries. Okay, I think they are underpaid. I'm not sure if what period is this. Could be like a month. If that's a month, then well, they're doing really good, right? So we have the manager ID, and it's worth to know that Ann Connor, she hasn't she she has no manager ID for some reason. So basically, it identifies which person is the manager of another. So Tom Lennon, okay, his manager is actually Ann Connor, right? So let's see that. Um, Basically here, what we'll be doing is to replace these numbers by the actual name of the manager. So it's given this relationship, okay, that you know that this refers to the ID that identifies the manager of the specific person, the specific people in this record. You can take advantage of that and change it to the actual name. Okay, so why would people do that? Why would people use codes in order to identify a person in the same table? One reason for that is time. It's way faster to write three as compared to the full name. Okay, so that's one of the reasons people tend to be very lazy. um, well, I should not say lazy, but they want to be more efficient with things. So this would also save so much memory if you just code it as three, and then later on just extract the information for analysis. So basically here, let me go through the self join query. Okay. So from the employees table, I just for some reason named it as employee table. I joined it together with the same table. I called it the manager table. So we alias the same table with two different names. Hmm, that's something counterintuitive, right? Something counterintuitive. But the reason for that is again, we have seen that this manager ID refers to specific people here that identifies their corresponding managers, right? So knowing that, we can use it, okay? So manager ID is equal to manager.id. Does it make sense? Employee.manager ID, manager.id. So we are referring to this column in this part. That's the ID part. Okay, we're referring to that. And we are using the manager ID, this thing on this part. Okay, because they are related. Okay, they are related. Can I do that with any other column? Well, if they are not related, for example, if they have different variable types, then we cannot do that. But here, it's very evident, even without just by looking at it. There's a relationship between these two columns and the rows of this columns. That's why we can take advantage of it. And then we want to see the employee ID, the full name, manager ID, and we are creating an alias for the full name as manager name. Okay, so this full name would not appear twice because we use it as a manager name. So now we can see that the corresponding person, okay, the manager of John Smith is actually Tom Lennon. Then similar with Jane Anderson, Tom Lennon has Ann Connor as his manager, and Jeremy York as John Smith. Do you follow? I'll be giving you some time to look at it because it's oftentimes, well, at first counterintuitive. Questions, guys? Questions?
Can you walk through the last line of on from the employees table? You're gonna match the key becomes manager ID equals manager, the alias. ID.
Yeah,
There is a
the
column name, right?
manager table is
Okay,
just
it's all
referring
the
to
way
the
to the
same
left.
table. Yeah,
Right,
but it
right, right.
refers to the other column. So yeah, this is quite confusing. So this is just referring to the ID column, and this is like the manager ID. But all of those are just from the same table. All of these things that you're seeing, we're just taking advantage of the relationship. That's all. Like converting. Okay, here's the manager ID. If you look at the rows, which person does it pertain to? Put it in the manager name column so that we can see, okay, John Smith 3 is referring to Tom Lennon, right?
I do have a question. It's a self join. So okay, let's look at the third line, Tom Lennon. So his manager is number 4.
Yes. Which refers
Okay.
to Ann Connor. Yeah.
Which refers to Ann Connor. But it's able to give you Ann Connor based on the relationship of column 1 and 2. Does that make is that making sense? There's
column 1
something.
and 3. Column 1 and 3 actually. Because on Connor, we did not
Well, where did you get
identify.
the name on Ann Connor? That
Yeah,
name came from column 2.
Yeah.
How does it
Let's
know to define based on column 2 when it's a self join? Why didn't it give you an under manager name? Why didn't it give you 3? Because manager ID
Well,
is a column.
Manager ID is already existing, right, Grace? So basically, this is the thing. We know, right, that manager ID 3 refers to this name Tom Lennon here, right? 3 is this. Now, we're just using that in order to create a new column, manager name here, that actually uses that information. That when your manager
Yeah,
ID
but
is this.
but for Tom Lennon, the employee whose ID is 3, when you made a new column and you called it manager name, it knew to look on column 2. It didn't give you the manager ID equals 4.
It actually.
Can you go back to how the query was written?
Yeah. Let's go back to there. It actually
Manager
actually,
full name as manager name.
yeah, you won't see Ann Connor here because Ann Connor, we don't have any manager name for her. It's missing from the
She's the
same.
boss.
Probably she could be the, yeah, given the salary, that's a great observation, Grace. She has the 20K to be the CEO. right? He's the boss.
No, I guess it's right there and in their select under select, right? Manager full name as manager name. So when I self-join
Yeah,
myself and they're all related, I don't want you to spit out a 4. I want you to spit out Tom
the
a
name. Yeah,
person's
the
name,
actual name. This one, yeah, yeah. This one does that. This last
that line.
item that
Okay.
select, yeah.
Yeah. But do you see that like, well, if it's referencing itself, how does it know which column to look at? Like that kind of question, but it's right there.
It's matching the values in your manager ID with the values in your ID. If it matches, then you would be looking into the full name, and then that would appear in the manager name, right? Similar to how we do that, how we process it without even looking at the codes. We know that John Smith, his manager is 3. So we look at ID 3, and we know that it's Tom Lennon. Does it make sense?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, just look into that. It does the same process. Like 3 is referring to this because we join them. We use that on this. So this is the process that we also do when we look at that table. Okay, that this is connected to this. So there's a match. There's a match. Then the full name would be corresponding to the manager name. So John Smith with the manager ID 3 in the manager name column would be Tom Lennon. Without the on clause, without the on, let me see, without this on clause right here, we cannot identify the corresponding manager. So this is actually very, very important right here to be able to see which columns are related to each other. And that's basically how we also do it, even without writing a code. Okay, Hasiba, Grace?
Got it.
Yep, perfect. Awesome. Hasiba, just a thumbs up will be good. Again, if you feel something is confusing, just let me know. Hasiba, don't be shy. Okay, so let's have here a sub-join practice. Okay, this is quite dense, so I'll be showing you the solution here and tell me if something is unclear. Okay. You'll have. I think I've prepared 3 or 4 practices for these things. So you'll be doing it with John. So the goal here is to identify companies in the tutorial.crunchbase investments part 1 table that received an investment from Great Britain following an investment from Japan. So we'll be looking for those companies that received an investment from Great Britain after an investment from Japan. Okay, Japan then Great Britain. Okay, so better if we go to mode and let's first look into that actual table, right? Um, let's look at that table just to understand what we're pertaining to. Similar to how we did it with the first example. From tutorial.crunchbase investments part 1, this thing. Okay, I want to see the column, so I'll be limiting my number of rows to just 5, and I'll be ordering it by um, company name, I think, right? Self join, and I want to see everything. Select everything. Okay. Hmm. try to understand these things first before we hit the green light for writing the code. Okay. Let's see. So we have the company permalink, just an ID, right? We have the company name, company category code. Okay, this is something that we can use. Company country code. So CHN refers to China. DEU refers to Deutsch or um, Germany, and then we have the USA. Let's see this company country code. This is interesting. I want to see these things. So I'll be hitting it with a distinct, right? And I'll be removing that limit. I don't need it anymore. Hmm. Ah, yeah, my bad. I'm ordering by something that's not existing in the output. I should be ordering it by then, one, right? Ordering by the only column I have. So I have here ant. What is ant? What country is that? RE is Argentina, right? Or no, ERG should be Argentina. I don't know. I'm not sure about ant. Any ideas, guys? AUT would be
Antigua. I don't know. I
okay.
wouldn't guess
Antigua.
DEU to be Germany though.
Oh, okay. That's something that I can't answer. Antigua. Where is it located? Latin America or
I think it's like Caribbean islands, but I'm not
oh,
sure.
Caribbean island? Okay, okay. RE, ARE, Armenia? No, no. I'm just too bad at this. I'm not familiar with the
Yeah.
country code. But again,
ARG. I don't even know ARG.
it could be Argentina, right?
Oh, Argentina.
Yeah, ARE would be something. I was thinking about Armenia, but it should be
Like
ARM.
United Arab Emirates, would their code be
You,
ARE?
it should be UAE. I
Yeah.
think
Oh
that
yes,
it's a
that's right. UAE.
yeah, yeah. There should be
Okay.
a UAE in here,
Yeah.
right? Let's see where
Oh,
where
where?
um company country code uh UAE. I think so. I think so. There should be a UAE in here. Oh, it's the UAE. Let's see. Let's remove this thing. But yeah, it doesn't have any UAE in here. Arab Emirates, United Arab Emirates. Hmm. Let's see. Uh, let's go back and see. It's alphabetized anyway, alphabetical, so we can see. Yeah, there's no UAE. Uganda, Ukraine, U or Y. Then could be. Oh,
Venezuela.
anyway, Venezuela. Yeah, Venezuela. VNM would be Vietnam, definitely. Zimbabwe or ZMB. ZAF. ZAF. What could be ZAF? I only know Zimbabwe as the only country that starts with Z. I don't know any other country. Hmm. Yeah. Anyway, it's out of our thing. I just want to see this countries, right? So
South
our main
Africa.
goal. Sorry, South Africa.
ZAF is South Africa.
Oh, okay, okay. That's interesting. So yeah, um, I kind of got um, yeah, carried away with identifying this. country codes. So let's go back to the actual thing. We want to identify the companies, right? The tutorial.crunchbase investment part one that receive an investment from Great Britain following an investment from Japan. So we are sure that we can make use of this country code column, company country code column, and I want to see it again, right? I want to see again these things, um, just to be familiar with the other columns that we can use. Limit 5 would be good. So company country code definitely. That's one column that we can use. And let's see. Um, so the companies would be the company name. Definitely. We have that state code. So this only is applicable if the country code is US, right? Or I could be wrong, but yeah, it should be US only, as far as I understood it. Company region, company city. Yeah, there we go. We have here investor permalink, right? Hmm, investor permalink. So basically, this is the like the ID of the investor. So the investor company of this companies that we have. That's neat. We can use that. We have the investor name, okay, investor category code, and investor country code. So we have we have the location of the acquired company and the acquire company, which is good, right? So this investor country code is the acquire, the acquirer's country, and this company country code is the country of the acquired company, right? So acquire and acquired. You have the city. We don't need to use that. You have the region, funding round type. Okay. Funded at, funded month, quarter, funded year. So say, um, let me see. If for example, okay, a company has received an investment from Great Britain somewhere in 2012 or sometime in 2012, okay, and it also received investment from Japan earlier than that year, then we can say that okay, that's one of the companies that we're looking for, right? Let's go back to that problem. The main goal is to identify the companies in this table that received an investment from Great Britain following an investment from Japan. So
And with
each,
this table, Jeff, and
sorry.
with this table, each transaction, or is it
Mhm.
each transaction is identified in its own row.
Yes, exactly.
So it would be it's not like we're looking for a Great Britain and Japan relationship amongst columns,
No, no, no,
right?
no.
Yeah.
These are
Okay.
transactions or records.
Transactions.
That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah, yeah. So, hmm. So that's the thing. It should be that um, it was first funded by Japan, and then immediately after funded by Great Britain, right? That's what we're after here. So we can make use of the funded at, right? This this thing or this thing. So the funded year, well, if we try to use that, the problem is there's a possibility that like one company in this transaction in this record could have been funded like in a monthly basis, right? It could be funded like it could be twice funded or thrice funded in a year. So we cannot just look into the years. It
Right.
should be also the day, the month, and the year. So here we have the month, the day, and the year. So while it's better to use, well, it's more comfortable, I should say, to use the funded year, it won't give us a more accurate result. So basically, let's go back here. So the funded at, okay, if you want to say that it should be funded first by Japan, right? The funded at from um from the same table, okay, that identifies Japan should be greater than Great Britain, right? Oh no, should be the other way
No.
around. It should be the other way around, right? It should be the funding round for when it is Great Britain should be greater than the funding round or or date for when it was funded by Japan, right? I kind of swap things there. Do you follow? So we have that idea now, and what we want to do is to translate it into codes. Okay, we have that idea. Now it's time to code it. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's switch to mode, and we will be writing our codes now. Tr- just translate that idea into code. Um, it's really the main thing now. What happened here? Um, what happened here? It doesn't give me the thing. Okay, so we'll be using self join. Okay, that's our main goal in here. So use self join. Let's practice self join. Self join. You want to show companies that are funded by Great Britain after being funded by Japan.
Can we write
Okay.
that in order that are funded by Japan, followed by Great Britain?
Okay. Funded by Japan, followed by. Huh? Isn't the other way around, Grace?
No.
It should be
Japan
funded first by.
first.
Yeah,
Japan first.
funded by Japan, followed by an investment.
By GBR.
GBR, yeah. Yeah, let me see if I wrote that correctly. Companies that are funded by Japan, followed by an investment in GBR. Okay, yep, perfect. So the first thing to do is identify the table, of course. So we have from, right, tutorial.crunchbase part 1. So what we want to do here is to create one table for all the records that are funded by Great Britain, right? So we will call that
Why?
um,
How do you choose Great Britain? Why not say all that are funded by Japan?
yeah, we'll be having those that are also funded by Japan.
Okay, so the selection of Great Britain as a filter is either or right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
I'm good.
Okay. So we'll call this, okay, GBR investments. GBR investment would be a neat name. GBR investments. GBR invest. Okay. And then join it with what would be the table to join after that. It could be, well, the order doesn't matter. So we already have the GBR. So we want to have another table again, this is a self join, a table in itself would be tutorial.crunchbase part 1, and then we have JPN invest, right? So
Right.
whether we switch GBR and put it in the from clause, or whether they put the the GBR on the join clause, it would not really matter currently. So
Mhm.
what matters is um the next succeeding codes, right? How, like, how we will be joining the same table. What information will we be using in order to sort of do a self join? And what do you think? What do you think would be um, the information to be used based on this exploration that we did? Again, we're looking for the company names, or the companies that um, acquired or got investments after, or investments from GBR after investment from Japan. So which one do you pick?
So, so where company country code equals JPN.
Mm, okay, that would be our filter, right? So our company
Right.
country code would be JPN. That's good. So let me put it in here. Where
Oh, we have to have the
our
on clause. That's what you were looking for?
yeah, but we can write the where
Just
first,
write
and
the where
then
down. Yeah.
yeah, talk about the where clause, right? Do you follow?
Right.
So what we want to do here is get the country code. So what was the name of that? Company country code. So we
But
can
isn't it investor country code is a separate column?
let me
That's the
see.
one we want.
Investor country code. Yeah, yeah. Actually, that's what we're looking for. Not this. My bad. This refers to the company country code. The um the country in which the acquired company is situated in, right? So we're particularly looking for the investments from Japan. So we should be looking for the investor country code, right? Right? Do you follow? Thank you very much for that. Jap- Japan invest dot investor country code, right? Is equal to what? Of course, JPN. Should be JPN, right?
Right.
Let me see. I think we have a JPN earlier here. hmm Investor country code. Oh no, it's doing it again. I forgot how to minimize this thing. Well, once the there we go. Okay. Okay, let's see if JPN refers to Japan. There we go. Japan. There's no other like logical code for it, right? Okay, okay. Yeah. See you, Hasiba. This is almost done. This is almost done. So if you can stay for like a few minutes, then it would be better. So, um, Now let's define the keys, right? The on. Okay. So what should be going to with the on clause? If you want to identify like which are the companies that are like, mm, acquired, which are the companies that acquired these investments from companies from Japan and Great Britain. So we need the what do we need?
Key. What is the key? The
What
key.
is the key? Let's go back here. Again, the key, um, there's so many keys that we can actually think of, but this is context specific depending on what really you want to accomplish. So we're looking for the particular companies, right? The particular companies that um, acquired investments from other companies situated in Japan and then Great Britain. So can we use the actual names for it? Well, you can use the company permalink also, but it would be not that pretty instead of just as compared to just using the company name. Does it make sense? So we will be
No.
looking tutorial Crunchbase or GBR Invest, right?
Yeah, GBR Invest.
GBR Invest dot company name, right? Do you follow? So the company name, well, this is just the same thing. Company name, and it would be the same company name, right? For the Japan one. Do you follow?
I think you need to go a little further to see if I follow.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go. So this should be equal also to Japan Invest. Company name should be invest. Let me see. Investor name, rather. Japan investor name. Investor name. Right? So you want to know in this particular thing that um, we're trying to identify these companies, okay, the names of these companies who got investments from Japan and then Great Britain. Let me see if this is correct. GBR Invest, the company Japan investor name.
I would have ended up using the investor country code, but for each relative tables, in
Mhm.
quotes, as the key.
Let me think. Let me think.
But I think that's like
Hmm.
redundant or dipping in the same soup or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
also,
yeah.
by the way, it would have to be Japan underscore invest dot investor name, the way you have it right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking if we need the investor name actually, but based on the problem, we're only after the company names.
Right.
So
So that has
actually,
to be part of the key if they're after company names.
yeah. Um, so here it should also be Japan Invest dot the same company name, right?
Okay, so the
Because
same idea as I had, but you're not going to use country code as the key. The key is company name, where GPN is the investor country code. Okay.
yeah. The thing here, the reason why I use the company name instead of the investor name first, we're not really after the investor name,
Well, it's exactly. I was
right?
like, we weren't even after the investor name anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, we were not after it. And if you think about it, if the GBR investment.company name is equal to GPN invest.company name, then that company obtained the same funding from both Great Britain and Japan. Now we just have to define, okay, what is the sequence, right? It should be Japan first, then followed by GBR, right? So that's when we'll be utilizing the funded at column. Do you follow? Since we know through this that these companies, this resulting companies would have obtained the funding, right, from GBR in Japan, the next thing to identify is the sequence,
Right.
right? The sequence in which um, so funded at, right? It should be um, another filter here, right? It should be another filter that GBR underscore invest but dot funded at, right? There should be a funded at also here. No. I only need the funded at greater than GPN dot invest underscore funded at. Oh, sorry, I messed up the underscore dot funded at. So in this way, basically what we're saying here is, okay, the GBR invest must be earlier than GPN invest.
What does it mean to be greater than? That
It
means
could,
that the date is more recent?
yes, exactly. It's earlier because the value should be much higher. So it would be in turn, meaning it's more recent.
More
Yeah,
recent.
exactly. More recent. Okay.
Funded at more recent. Great. Now what we haven't actually told it to look for
GBR.
GBR yet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay. So
So
where do we do that? Some kind of having by or something? Improvement.
no. So let me go to the sequence of hurry again. So we are successful in, okay, there should be both GBR and Japan Investment, okay, those company names. But we are adding this new things such as that GBR Investment must be um greater than uh JB JPN Investment funded at. So there should be a way for us. Okay, there must be a filter also that. So that's another end. So since we already have a tag for Japan, there should be another tag for GBR investment. GBR invest dot investor code must be GBR, right? So whether it goes in first before line 367 doesn't really make any changes at all, because and on that line we're just specifically looking for, is the GBR investment earlier, or yeah, earlier than the Japan investment, right? And what else? Okay, Japan investment is already there. GBR investment is already there. We have already a filter for the GBR. Everything GBR is this. Okay, so what are the things that we want to see? So in the select clause, we want to see identify companies and
Company
companies,
name.
company names. Okay, so any table here, right? But we can hit it with a distinct so that the companies would don't have um any replicates, right? So it would be JPN Invest dot company names, right? And then
Mhm.
what other else do we want in here? In fact, that's all. We just want to see these company names. And let's hit it with order by sending one. Let's see.
Can't we check it by doing or add a column for funded at?
Yeah, that's a great idea. So JPN Invest dot funded at, just to see if the sequence is correct, right?
Right, if we got
Yeah,
the
yeah.
right country code.
Let's see. Hopefully we don't have any errors here. Taking so much time. I wonder how big this table is. But basically the reason why it's getting that is it's doing it row by row. So company name funded at
18 names.
I
18
think
companies.
we need more information to be shown,
We need
right?
a column for investor country code.
Yeah, invest dot country code. And
Yeah,
I'm thinking if there should be other columns here as well, but definitely country code should be there because it should show uh showed all GBR, right? It shows everything funded. So this thing, let's say, Aperto Networks was funded at October 3, 2000 by Japan. I was thinking that Great Britain would show, not Japan. I think we failed. Uh, let me see. Let me see the sequence again. Did I understand it correctly? What should be shown here would be all the companies that received the funding first from Japan, then Great Britain, right? Did I understand my
what
English
if,
well?
yeah, but does line 368, does that have to be a where clause? And then 367 becomes the code, because it's the time thing.
Let me think. Let me think. So this line 368, the reason for its being is because we want every country code to be GBR to make sure that all of those companies that are appearing here have been funded or previously funded by GBR. And then the where clause, let me think. Hmm, only 18 rows. So this means GB invest funded at is greater than, let's say 10/3 October 3 2000 for Japan. Let me try. I think the sequence here should be changed. This I think what's uh in the current. Okay, there we go. So um I think I have it in reverse earlier that
Yeah,
those
but we're
are the
not even getting the same company names.
yeah, it
Oh,
should not
because
be
of
the
the order.
same. It should not because earlier what we had are those companies, okay, funded by Japan first,
Then Great
and
Britain.
then
Then Great Britain.
funded by Great Britain first, then Japan,
No, no.
right? So here, all of this are funded by, let's say, Critical Blue. Let's have it like Critical Blue. Critical Blue. So Critical Blue, just to make sure that we have it correctly. Critical Blue funded at 10103, right? And then let's look at, so this is for GBR and GBR here.
So with this one, if you're gonna record a date for critical, oh, because but then you switched it.
Yeah, I think it's switched up. Let me just verify if that's the case. We'll be looking for Critical Blue here for Japan because both are basically um basically funded by by both companies. Let's see Crystal Blue. So Crystal Blue here is not appearing.
Or critical blue, actually, even
Or
too.
Critical Blue, rather. Critical Blue is not appearing. What could be the reason for that? It could be that Critical Blue was funded earlier, right? Was funded earlier. Because we're using this as a filter, so everything that would be shown here would be just equal to Japan, right?
Mhm.
And we're joining them together with this. So if we don't put any filter, let's remove this, okay? And let's look into everything to have a bigger picture of what's happening. Star, we put it at the top first for now, right? I don't need the order by, just this. There we go. Uh, there's so many. Uh, there's so many replicates here. So this is what I want to see. Funded month duplicate name. Funded quarter. So 7, 8. So yes, it is a range, right? As you can see. Funded duplicate column. Right. Funded at. Hmm. And identify companies in the tutorial.crunchbase investments part 1 table that received an investment from Great Britain following an investment from Japan. Following an investment from Japan, meaning they was first invested by a Japanese company, and then after which a Great Britain company also invested. So that's the sequence. So that's this part, right? So this part meaning funded funding sequence. Now the funding sequence, it should be okay. The JBR investor country code must be Great Britain. That's correct, right? This is correct. And where Japan investor country code is equal to Japan. So the country code refers only to Japanese investor. But on the joint table, we only have those funded by Great Britain first. I'm getting confused by this. Let me think. Did we got
So
it
because
correct?
where clauses filter the basic data, right? Line
Yeah,
370, we're able to filter for Japan first.
Japan. Oh, yeah,
And
Japan
then
first.
and then the and clauses act as a filter
No, it doesn't.
on the
Yeah,
because we are filtering here between the dates and then
basically
looking
yes,
for a GBR country code. Yeah, those
yes.
are filtering. So
Those
that's
are
why it's like
filters.
it's even hard to wrap my head around it as an and
Yeah,
clause.
it's an and clause, but it's acting as a filter actually.
It's acting as a filter.
Yeah, it's acting
Because
as a
you're saying
filter.
because it's kind of like you're saying on the new table, on the new merge table,
Hmm.
where the Japan has been filtered, look now for GBR, but where that date is greater than the invest funded
Yeah,
invest
so
fund at.
typically you would find this in like joints, right? Right? Uh, sorry, invest funded at. I think we got it correctly earlier. We got it correctly. So let me put things straight here. So here, while this is end, is supposedly a multiple key, right? Joining the same table with each other, but by another column. However, instead of saying that the funded as at must be equal to the um, uh, to the same table funded by the same time as Great Britain, you are saying in this line that the GBR investment must be more recent as compared to the Japanese investment, right?
Right.
So yeah, earlier we are just using this as equal, but if you do that, what you're saying is that the funding date by GBR must be the same as the funding by Japan, which we don't want that. What we want is the GBR funding must be more recent than Japanese funding. Okay. And another thing that we put in here is the country code, another filter. Okay. This is very confusing because we typically use this statement as a filter in the where clause. But
Mm-hmm.
since okay, we can only write the where clause once in a single query unless we do a subquery, which we'll be talking about in the succeeding meetings. We use the end. So when you join the table together, the same information, and you just use the same information existing in it, you are basically filtering, okay, all those country codes equal to GBR. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And after which, so this is one complete table already. Okay. So we can actually run this in itself. It should run. Okay. The where clause is just actually um, an addition. Let me show it to you. So this is in itself an actual query that would work. So we only have these companies in which the investor country code is GBR, and at the same time, the investing or the funded date is much recent than the Japan investment date. Okay, I think we
Where
should.
does it read the Japan investment date? Because in line 368, when we
Mhm.
say the Great Britain date must be more recent, it
Yes.
doesn't and you don't highlight line 370, you're not comparing it to a Japan funded date, right? You're saying have it be a more recent date compared to that date. And you say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, it hasn't been defined.
Let me see.
Or maybe it's in select.
No, no,
No.
no. The select would be
Yeah.
after the end. Yeah. So the select has nothing to do with it. So your question was, how was it able to filter which would be GBR investment?
Which, well, that line 368 is a filtering of more recent dates from
Yeah.
the GBR date versus the JPN date. So if you say this query code works by itself from lines 364 to 369, but in line 368, you say have it be more recent than that date, which is the Japan Invest funded at date.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, I understood your point, Grace.
yeah.
The thing here is, once we have sequenced this, currently at line 6368, it doesn't yet identify which GBR is and which Japan is.
Right.
Un-
That was
yeah,
like, I had that confusion like earlier on and had it for a
yeah.
while.
Well, we can actually put this. Well, to remedy your dilemma, we can actually put it this way. First, filter all that is GBR.
GBR. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference in
Yeah, let's make a
understanding. But
not really
it's
big difference in
still
result. It would be still the same, but
right.
the sequence is okay. You have the country code all GBR, right? And then you look into the funding date, and everything must be earlier, right, than the Japanese funding. Do you follow?
But that part right there, earlier than the Japanese funding, as of line
Mm.
369, you haven't even told it to compare itself to that date.
Um,
It's in line 370 where you told it to compare itself to the Japan
no, no,
lines.
no. The where clause is actually
Being
has
run
nothing to do.
ahead of all this.
Yeah,
No.
it has nothing to do actually with this. Um, this where clause right here only filters all those that are with JPN investor country code. Now here, I think what you were asking is, how was it able to identify that it is indeed a Japanese investment, or it's indeed a GBR investment, right?
Right, which maybe the answer is in because how it runs differently. Or when you say the background, how the sequence is maybe different than how you type it. Maybe that's the answer. But go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. Earlier, I think that the confusion is if we put this filter at line 369 instead of line 368, that is a bit counterintuitive because in that you still don't have an idea on which to be filtered with. But currently, um, I think it's more intuitive because we have GBR first, right? But basically, under the hood, it's just the same thing because the merge table, the resulting table after the self join, would still have this column funded at, but it would be all earlier, right? All earlier than those Japanese funded. Okay, because if we try to get back and look into this table, let's see. You're actually seeing. Let's relate it to our query. We have here this company name, okay, and this GBR, So all of this would be just GBR and then investment funded at is greater than Japan invested in. So imagine if the record again we're just handling the same table. If the record is the same, it will be doing it under the hood row by row. So funded at okay the same table funded at
Hold on, hold on. I want to clarify. This right here from
Mm.
364 to 370, 371 makes sense to me. But you were saying that from 364 to 369, we don't even have to include the where clause. It gets at the
no
same
no
it gets at
it
the same
actually
results. Okay, that's what I
it,
heard you say. And I said, how does that make sense when you have in line 369, you haven't even told it to look for Japan codes yet.
yeah because it acts as a filter.
Right.
In the self join it acts as a filter that it would be looking row by row that if all of these fundings, for example, funding 10,10,3,7, then you have another 10,3,7 there. All of those are for example, GBR. So it would be looking for all of those that are much recent. If it's much recent, then it would be included in the output. If it's much later, then it would be excluded. Okay, I think that's not that doesn't make any sense. Okay.
I think it does. I just need to hear it
Yeah, you
again.
yeah, you're doing it row by row actually. When you do this and even this on, you're doing it in itself. Let's go back to the concept of inner join, Grace. In the concept of inner join, you have the IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is doing it row by row with another table 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1, 2, 3, 4 from the first table matches row by row with other table, right? It's looking one. Is it? Do you have another one on the other table? Yes. Match. Number two. Do you have a two in there? Match. Do you have more than two in there? Like more than one? Like two twos in there. So it would match together. So there would be two two records corresponding to
Right.
two from the first table. So is there a five in there? No, there's no five in the other table. So it would skip that. It's similar to this on that we're doing here. However, we're just doing it on the same table. Okay, we're doing it. Okay, this on right here, actually, it's just a way to stack together the same table, right? Stacking together the same table, similar to what we did here. Let me
Yeah,
copy
it's
this.
like we
I think that,
duplicated. And so I
yeah,
see
we,
it
we
as
just
like a
duplicated it.
the same
Exactly.
exact column right next to it.
Exactly. So we duplicated here similar to this. The same table, we just name it as employee. You join it with itself. So it's just stack it together, just a replicate. Then here comes the magic. In your n, or rather in your on, and later in your end, there would be some kind of filtering row by row also, right? So here, okay, you have a manager ID column. So this is row, that's row, and you have an ID column. So this is the row by row, right? And then, as you can see, we did not issue any filter here. We just specifically stated, okay, that column manager ID must be the same as with the ID in terms of value. So it would look for all of the things here. One, do you have a match in there? Yes, one. And the corresponding value of that in the manager ID, which is already part of the select, it doesn't have to do anything with the filter, is John Smith. It would automatically um, populate it. So the same way, if we go back to our thing right here, okay, so this on, okay, we already know that just to relate the same table with each other, okay, and no, I should say this join right here. So this join right here is just a way for us to stack together. And this on is a filter, right? And what is that
Mm-hmm.
filter, Grace? You have the same company names, right? You have the
Mm-hmm.
company name, company name. Okay, so you're looking for the matches row by row. Same company, same company. Okay, good. Now you have another filter in your end, which is basically another on. So this end actually is just an on. So this end in line 368 is still an on. That would be
Mm-hmm.
looking for, okay, this companies, but are GBR. So now you're just not just looking for the same companies, but company, but from GBR. GBR. Okay. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
another on. So it's a layer by layer by layer of filter. And there's another condition in which you now look at the funded at. Okay. It should be that it is GBR funded at less than when it is not.
Funded at less than what?
Funded by GBR earlier as compared to other fundings other than GBR. Because there are other fundings as well, right? There are fundings made by US, but you're specifically looking for a GBR funding that is more recent than the other ones, as other than GBR,
Right.
right? That's
Other
the
than the
magic in there.
GBRs.
I think that's the confusion is where we're looking at GBR only here, GBR as compared to the other, whether it's Japan, whether it's US or whatsoever, right?
But hold
So
on, we may be on the same page, but if the full answer is from line 364 to 370,
mm,
but you're saying you could truncate the answer to line 369 and it's still the same answer? It's still
it
the right
should be,
query?
it should be, but um, this could be including other countries as well, right? Let me see.
Right. So then because the question was Great Britain after Japan, you have to include
Japan,
370.
exactly, exactly.
Okay,
Uh,
so it was, yes, I have the
I
same
think
understanding. It
okay,
was just
okay.
like you were saying, well, actually it could actually even be this short. And I said,
Ah,
if you
okay.
cut it that short, you're cutting off the most important part, which is compare it
Ah,
to Japan funded at.
funded. Okay, okay. Yeah, there might be just a confusion right there. I think what I just want to highlight earlier is in itself, line 364 to line 369 is already a working query in itself. That's what
Okay,
I just
yes,
want
yes,
to
it
say.
works
Yeah,
by itself,
by
but to
itself.
answer the
But
question, yeah.
exactly
Okay.
to answer this,
That's
this
what you meant by
specific
that. Okay.
yeah, to answer this one, we need to have the filter, and the filter is actually needed to see all of those companies because again, at this point, everything earlier than GBR, okay, perfect. You have a USA in there, you have an
Yeah, so that
Argentina
was
in
my
there.
question. I was going like, you're saying look for this date where it's after that date. And I said, you
Mm.
haven't defined that. So how are you done at line
Okay,
369 to answer the question?
yeah, yeah. That's why we need the 370.
I know
I think
we
I
need a
think I
translator
think
between it.
yeah, we're on the same page earlier. I think I communicated a different thing when I said that line 364 to line 369 can actually answer
Function on
everything.
its own already.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Okay.
Um, actually, you can do that, but it will be brute force. Like you will be listing it down, and then, is it Japan or not? Or it's
Oh my God.
Argentina, or that would
Right.
be inefficient, right? Now, to make
Hmm.
things easier, you insert a where clause that would just list down all that are Japan. So those are
Yeah.
funded by GPR, but it's much earlier, and um, it follows an investment from Japan, not with any other country. Okay, I
All
think
right.
I think my English was not really that good earlier, but um,
It's
I was
okay. I
trying.
think the
Yeah,
recording liked that explanation of all those ands anyway, so it's good.
yeah, yeah. But was it clear that this is everything in which yeah it's earlier, but it could be any other country as well. The first funding could be US, the first funding could be Argentina or any other country. And then after we filter it, okay, you only want the Japan, right? In fact, we can also look into other countries as well here, like um, Zimbabwe, if there are. there are any fundings, if there are any companies such that. Let's see. There should be less. I mean, in terms of economic status, this developed G7 countries are more likely investing or acquiring more companies. So ZMB, yeah, there is none. But if
So
we
can you
look
put
into,
in there Japan, the JPN,
yeah,
and then under select, can we add investor country code?
investor country code, yeah, I think we can do that. Dot underscore invest country code. Yeah.
And then take out distinct.
Okay. Let's see. So you want to see this the
I
location
want to
of
see the
this current
company names
company? Yeah.
repeating with the
Funded
investor country
by
code.
first Japan and then followed by Great Britain. Which are those companies? Yeah. Or where are those companies situated?
Or frankly,
Definitely.
what are the dates between them that it's
Hmm.
in comparison?
So this is, well, there are two.
Oh, select line is investor country code, not company country code.
This one?
Yeah. Investor.
Investor. Let's see. It would be all Japan, I think. Country code, because we filtered everything in our workflows to be equal to Japan. So we're expecting all of it to be Japan. Yeah. Should be all Japan. Right? Grace? We filtered it because so we want everything to be Japan. So or you don't want the filter.
It's in the filter.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's try remove the filter. So we'll be seeing other names here as well. Aside from Japan could be um
How would we query it so that the table showed just GBR and Japan,
GBR in
the
Japan.
two, right?
Mm,
So then when they would be row by row, we can compare the funded at dates that the Japan was actually prior to the
okay,
Great Britain. How would
let's
we
see.
write that?
If the condition must be it is both Japan, um well the thing is,
If the where statement becomes an and, does that work?
let me think. Uh I think um let me see. I'm thinking about something, but let me verify it first. So your idea is to show the company names at different funding dates by both Japan and GBR, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's see. So what we can do then is just do um a where clause GPN investor, GPN invest, GPN invest
Okay.
dot country code or investor code
To include
equal.
them both in the
Oh,
basic
yeah,
filter.
yeah. JPN. Should be like this only. Yeah. It won't see. It won't show anything because of this filter. That's my earlier suspicion, but there's no such thing as both. But if you just look into GBR, you should see the same companies but on different funding rounds. So Roku, let's see. So Roku funded by 2913. Uh, let's see. Because all of this in here are GBR, and then the funding round is much earlier than the others. So all of those appearing here without the filter, without the where clause, are actually already funded by GBR.
Mhm.
Grace, does it make sense? This JPN right here, what we're basically saying here is that all of this list that will be
Yeah,
resulting from this query are in itself already funded by
by Japan.
G,
Yeah.
by Japan, and uh, was again funded by GBR based on this filter. So there's no way for us to see if you put an end in here, um, it would be it would look for a row that contains both Japan and GBR, which
Oh,
won't
that's
be
not.
it won't be possible, right? Because we have already filtered it during the self join. So all of this again, um, funded by Japan and was later funded by GBR at 5108.
So
Does it make sense?
actually, the same idea you just tried. You put where country investor country code equals JPN and investor country code equals JBR, right?
Yeah, at the under the hood, it's what done. It's what's being done already. These are all
So
funded
what
by
if you
GBR.
did, if you had done or in this where clause, would it display it?
Um, let's see. It would display. mm, it should. I mean,
Or JBR dot in or
yeah.
JBR underscore invest.
I mean, these are two different conditions that we just have to satisfy something. So it should appear in here. Oh, sorry. GBR should show the GBR as well. But like it would finish first the Japan and then another line for GBR. Or that's the other way around actually.
There we go. So see how like, and you could just focus on Icera, then you
Hmm.
can compare the dates between the country codes.
Yeah, let me hit it with a distinct. Yeah, so that we can see Isera there. Is Isera also in the earlier without the GBR?
Oh, I don't know.
I think Kuroko is in there also. Abiko, Abiko. Let's see that. So there are multiple rounds for GBR with Abiko. Let's see. Let's see that Abiko or I'm not sure if I even pronounce that correctly. GBR. Then just remove this thing. Chill. Yeah, it's not in here because
Hmm.
probably the reason for that is um Let me think for a reason for that. These are or earlier funded, right? Um, I think.
Because because we had or in the where statement, the company Abiko didn't have Japan,
They didn't have Japan, yeah.
didn't have
I-
Japan as an investor. By including JBR in the where filter, it was basically
mm,
like, oh yeah, JBR invested after JBR invested.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So that's why they're not
That's why
in this
it
search.
won't
Yeah.
happen. So basically, this is like mutual exclusive from each other. So we can't really see anything that's the same here from both of when the filter is Japan and GBR. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
All right.
Yep, yep.
Man, that was a lot.
This is a great discussion. I mean, this is the first time that someone actually uh, asked me to dive in deeper with this. But in reality, um, you would less likely use self joints with like um you're basically doing a filter here, right? If you imagine it doing in spreadsheet, it's like doing sort and filter.
Right.
That's what you're doing right here. You just filtered.
Which is
Okay, I
what
only
which
want
is like
GBR.
that was like my Excel skills prior to starting was like sort and filter. I just sort and filtered everything
Yeah,
and
sorted
then
and filtered
highlight.
everything. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
did it in code, but under the hood, what Excel does is this exactly same thing. Okay, I only want GBR where the date must be less than or must be earlier than those acquisitions or fundings by Japan. So in Excel, it's just like couple of clicks, then you have it. So well, things are a bit difficult, more difficult with coding, but it offers you more flexibility. So it's just sort and filter actually. So yep, thank you very much, guys. I think we went so much over time, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. So let's continue with I think Union, the next meeting. Okay,
Jeff, I have a question.
sure.
John has addressed
Mm.
this multiple times, but he cannot be in lab tomorrow.
Mm.
So are we still meeting and doing a self
Unfortunately,
session?
I
By default,
you
that
would
means no class.
yeah, it means no class, but there should be it should be offset. Like there should be another like lab session because the thing is tomorrow I'll be doing my task as the product manager, so I won't be able, as much as I would love to, I won't be able to join you because I would be sacrificing the existing task. So I asked John to give you worksheets that I think you can talk about the answers during Saturday session, or maybe extend one meeting the entire cohort. Okay.
All right.
Yep. So it will not be missed. We will still complete the 16 weeks, even though like a session would be missed, it would be added towards the end. Okay.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I will go on Discord and let the other two know. I will be there
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much. I hope the session was good. See you on Saturday. Okay.
Saturday.
Bye
Okay.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.